Hi there, welcome to the channel, welcome back if you're a return viewer. I'm Kerry and you're watching the Christchurch Review of Books. I'm coming to you here from a sunny, warm afternoon in early February 2025, and it's just going to be a quick video on a book I finished about a week ago, and that is Bullshit Jobs by David Graeber. Now this book made a bit of a fuss when it came out in 2018, around that period. It was a bit of a talking point for a while, and naturally it kind of went right over my head until early 2025, when I actually got time to read it. David Graeber was a bit of an activist, an anthropologist who liked to keep his fingers in on left-wing causes, perhaps you might say, progressive causes. Unfortunately, he died about 5 years ago, so that's pretty sad. I didn't even actually realise he was no longer with us until I actually researched a little bit into this book after reading it. So, you know, he put out several books, most notable, he did a study on like money and debt, which followed its history amongst mankind. That's called something like Debt, the First 5,000 Years. After Bullshit Jobs, he co-authored a book called The Dawn of Everything, I believe it was called, about basically radically changing the accepted history of Western culture and society, and that one was a bit of a talking point as well. So in between he wrote this book, put it out. Now this was based on a 2013 article he wrote for a magazine called Strike! And his basic theory is a lot of the modern jobs are pretty much worthless bullshit jobs, as he called them. Now his article made a fuss and reverberated around the internet at the time, 2013, 2014, and eventually decided to expand on it and create this book. That's called Bullshit Jobs, a Theory. Now, I'd like to say it was an in-depth and thoughtful book, but it's kind of actually light-hearted in a way. Its main meat on its bones are anecdotes from workers who work in jobs which are absurd, ridiculous, pointless, or just monotonous and psychologically dangerous for the workers. He starts out the book basically with the oft-quoted musings of economists and work experts, and from about the 1930s to the 1960s, saying that basically by the 21st century we all should be working like 10-15 hour jobs and have a massive amount of leisure, and we wouldn't know what to do with our leisure. And basically follows how that didn't happen, and basically in the 1970s things got a little weird for workers. Workers' productivity kept going up, but the prior pay increases didn't. So people were working harder, and the amount they were remunerated was not keeping up with the stuff they were doing, and that's kind of followed that trend ever since. And since around that time, the 1970s, so many more management, administration jobs have been incorporated into the society, and so the anecdotes kind of illustrate what he means. Is the first one that I remember in the book is basically a private contractor for the German Defence Ministry, I believe it is, has a ridiculously sounding job where he, every time a soldier or a member of the Defence Forces has to move offices, this guy has to come in from hundreds of kilometres away to move the computer and office equipment, then drive 100 kilometres away back, and, you know, charges everything for this, and this is somehow more efficient than the soldier doing it himself. So that kind of sets the tone for the book, and when we have more ridiculous ridiculous jobs, anecdotes after anecdotes of jobs which people themselves feel are pointless or are damaging their mental health. Just a whole lot of stuff that just meaningless jobs which are there for show, just so you can a manager can say he's got underlings which do something for him. In many cases the people don't even know what they're supposed to be doing. They just look busy, spend a lot of time on the internet writing their own thing, pursuing their own projects, and there's apparently a massive amount of this going on. Something like 20% of people feel their jobs are pointless, and that's probably an underestimate. So we hear a lot of anecdotes, people's stories about these jobs. Meanwhile, Graeber kind of constructs a theory about what's going on. Basically, a kind of it puts a lie to the oft quoted and repeated job that private industry is somehow more efficient in these things. It's also, he likens it to the Soviet Union, where jobs were constructed to pretend that there's full employment. And private industry has done something similar with the kind of what he calls a feudal system. Like there's managers, and they have under managers, and they have underlings and what have you. They've created a whole new pyramid of administration and most companies, which are largely pointless. That just distances people from the workers, from the management even further, and is pointless paper shuffling. And he kind of divides these into, I think, 5 types of jobs. I think one is a goon, one is a duct taper. I cannot remember the other time, but he kind of, duct tapers are people who fix ridiculous things that have been set up by other people. You know, like in the IT industry, some program won't work with another program, and so someone has to kind of like patch it together when they could have just found a better solution in the first place. That type of thing. And there's I think there's a lot of that going on. And basically, I'll cut this short. He basically thinks this is a massive waste of time, and a lot of these jobs could be eliminated, but of course the risk of that is there'd be a lot of more poor people, destitute people, if they didn't have these jobs. So his solution basically is the universal basic income, that basically everybody in a society would be paid a basic stipend to survive, and if they wanted more, they'd get a job. This would apparently improve the situation according to Graeber. Anyway, people have strong opinions on UBIs. I think it's a good idea myself, having been involved in various forms of welfare over my life, and just the stupid stigma and bureaucracy of that. If you're between jobs, you have to basically feel like you're worthless, and so a UBI would kind of end that. The whole welfare system would be ended except for extreme cases, and people would all get a kind of basic income, as the acronym suggests. And so anyway, I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the anecdotes, especially. My problem was that there's not much meat on the bones besides the anecdotes. Graeber's theories could have, fitted in an article like he originally wrote. That said, there's a lot of humour. He pokes a lot of fun at institutions and all that type of thing. Of course, you've got to have the caveat, this Graeber is a bit of an activist, like I said, a bit of a left-wing person, so he's coming at from that position. If that doesn't match your opinions, you'll probably get a little angry about some of his statements in this book. He does try to demolish some of the counter-arguments that people have put to him, and it's all very thoughtfully done, and there are pages and pages and pages of references. So it's enjoyable. Read it for the absurdities, the ridiculous jobs, the stories, the quotes. Graeber's thoughtful about it. I don't think he offers an ultimate solution to these type of jobs, except for basically people not having them. So there we go. So that is Bullshit Jobs by David Graeber. So that was a quick review, and I will leave it there. Next up, I am reading, what am I reading? I'm reading Picks and Shovels, the third Marty Hench series book by Cory Doctorow. I'm about a third of the way through that, enjoying it much. He seems to improve every time he writes one of these Marty Hench books, becoming quite gripping. Hench seems to be odd, as we go further back in his career, the Picks and Shovels follows his first adventures and his origin story. He seems more of a human being than he did in the first book, Red Team Blues, which I guess is a good thing there. Otherwise, I am reading a biography of Orwell, George Orwell, Taylor's biography. I've just started that, so I haven't made much past a very early childhood section. So those are 2 more reviews in the production line coming soon to you. All right, I'll leave it there. Have a happy weekend, Sunday, Monday, whatever day you're watching this on, whatever time of day it is. Peace be upon you. Cheers. Bye.